Hi everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 76, part 5 of the R's.
That's a lot of R's.
We've had a lot of R's.
We still got 3 more to go.
Well, this one and 2 more.
What she said.
Okay,
Anyway.
Before we get started though, as always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And you can follow the link below to find us on all of our social media.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
11 games. We're going to start from the smallest to the biggest, I guess. I think that's how I have them stacked there.
Okay, sure.
So we're going to start off with a little bitty card game, if you want to call it that, called Rock.
It's a card game. There's cards involved. It's a game. It's a card game.
But it came from a hand game.
Yes, it did. You're right. That does not sound right, but okay. All right, so the way this one plays.
It's rock, paper, scissors cards.
Yeah, it's the card version of rock, paper, scissors. You split the cards based on the number of players. Everybody, actually, it's just 2 players, isn't it?
It's just 2 players. Does it
I
say
don't remember.
two players? Yep, 2 players,
2
ages
players.
7 to adult. Less than
Okay.
2 minutes per game, and they aren't lying.
No, they are not. So each person, there you go, have a deck of cards.
Oh, geez.
You each throw out a thing, so scissors beats paper.
So
Who
I get
gets
the card.
cards?
Paper beats
That's
columns.
stone.
I guess that's stone.
That's stone. So I would get that one. And then scissors beats paper again. And this is essentially how it goes. Stone beats scissors. So there you go.
And it's just different stuff like
Stone
this is a Swiss Army knife versus
Yeah. A column for stone.
that's Stonehenge.
A paper swan. Scissors are usually pretty obvious. A stack of from the inbox.
Yep, so do I.
So
It's just
it's
the
war
Easter
meets,
Island guys.
It's war meets paper, rock, paper, scissors. Essentially is
Yeah.
what it is. You play
So then they
through-
actually have a rock there.
They actually do have rocks, yes. You play through your entire hand of cards. Whoever has the most cards wins. Done. It's that simple. Yeah, we're going to let this one go. It's just not quite what we're looking for that collection. If they want to play war, they can play war.
It's not war.
It is. It's the war version of rock, paper, scissors. It's war meets rock, paper, scissors. That's all it is.
No, it's just rock, paper, scissors card version where
Okay.
you don't have to worry about your hands.
Either way, it's leaving the collection. All right.
Next we have Roll For It, and we have
Roll For It.
the purple version and the red
We
version,
do.
just so you can have 8 players.
Right. So each version, and I did like this. You can buy one version, you have 4 players, or you can buy both versions and you have 8 different colors of dice. So you can play 4-player, which I think is lovely. Or 4-player, I'm sorry. So you can play 8-player. And I think that's good in large groups. That being said, this is a really long game in large groups.
Yeah, it can be.
So, all right, so how this one plays, we'll go ahead and put the purple version away. And I do have a copy of this in the other collection. These both sit in our collection. I do have one copy in the other collection. Okay, so how this plays. Start of the game, you have so many of these cards out depending on player count. And these are just out in the middle of the table. These depict the dice that are needed to claim it. So, for example, in order to claim this 10 points, I have to have, or whomever is going to claim it, has to have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4 on this card. Now, as you're rolling your dice, everybody only has, 6 dice in the game? You roll your dice once per turn, and then you place whatever you want out, knowing that you don't get those dice back until that card's been claimed, whether it be by you or somebody else in the game. So, and I know you guys cannot see this, I have a bunch of 3s, I have 2 6s, and I have a 1.
You could put one
I
thing
could
out.
do these, I could put a
Oh,
1
yeah, you
and a
could do
3
that.
here. And then that's the end of my turn. The next time my turn comes around, if nobody has broken this yet, I only have 4 dice. So I would roll my 4 dice,
there's
and
your
there's
4.
my 4, and there's a 2. So if nobody has broken this before me, I claim all my dice back. Anybody else who has dice on this card, they get their dice back, and I get 10 points. Game ends when one player gets to 40 or 45. I don't remember the exact
Something
number.
like that.
It's that simple. It's just a dice chucking game.
40.
Kind of a push your luck because at any point you can take dice back off of a card if you need to. But if you get all your dice out there and you have nothing to roll, you have no choice but to take dice back because you have to be able to roll. So it's an interesting game. I like it. It's a very light game. It's super easy to
it's
teach.
easy to get out. It's like a
It's a kind of an end of the night filler.
end of the night or beginning of the day.
Yeah. That is Roll For It. Hey, I got that one on right. That is Roll For It. We're going to keep both copies. Like I said, I have a copy in the other collection too.
These two are in our collection.
These two are in our collection. And we've pulled it out with 8 players before. We taught these
We've
to the
pulled it
people
out
I
with
work
2
for.
players before.
We have. So, but yeah, just a nice little light game. Great. Wrap up the night or start while you're waiting for people.
A filler game.
Yeah. All right.
Next, we have an old Mayfair game in their Funfair line. This is Rocket Jockey.
I always forget just how much I enjoy this game till we pull it out. So it's nothing to look at, that's for sure.
No, it's a Mayfair game.
It is. All right, so...
And this is a true Mayfair game, not a... this is a true Mayfair game.
Is it?
Not a... I can't remember the company they used to do now. She'll put it down there someplace.
I'm trying to remember it.
It's a German game company.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could find one of these the games out here, but I don't see it anywhere.
Lookout.
Lookout games, yes.
How this one is played, you have the series of planets. You get 6, 5, 4. Oh, there's Pluto. Pluto counts in this game. 2. All right, so you have all of your planets from Mercury all the way down to Pluto lined up. You see it? So the game starts out with all these different cargo cards laid out under here. The only rule being you can't lay out a piece of cargo on a planet that's already where it wants to go. So you have I managed to do that all the way across with no problems. Okay, so on your turn you have a couple of options. You always draw up one card. So you draw, so maybe I have these in my hand. I draw up one card automatically. I can draw from the top of the pile. I can draw from any one of the 3 that are laid out. Or if there is a discard pile out here, I could draw from the top of the discard pile as well. If I don't want to make any other moves, I can fuel up and draw one more card from someplace. That's one option. My second option is to try to make this deliver somewhere, to make a piece of cargo get to where it wants to be. So let me take a look at what we've got here. And you're trying to use as many possible cards as you can
you want as many
to
jumps
make the
as you can.
connection
Yeah,
work.
you want to jump as many times.
Yeah, the more jumps you have, the more connections you've made,
the more points.
the more points you're going to get out of it. So for example, this piece of express cargo here needs to go to Earth. It's currently sitting on Venus. Well, I can play a Venus to Jupiter card and jump from here to here. Now we push this down so it shows that that's the one I'm trying to deliver. And then I turn around and I play a Jupiter back to Earth card. So here, I'll put those right there. So I jump back to Earth. So now I'm able to deliver my express cargo to Earth. I get this card that gives me a set collection, points toward a set collection at the end of the round. And then I also, because I used 2 cards, I get 3 points based on my transport rules. And then these go to the discard pile in any order I choose. Well, no, they have to go in the order you played them.
Yes.
Because that way, that's what's available to the next person that comes up.
Yep.
And then you put out a new card here, as long as it doesn't already match where the planet that it's being placed at. Now there's an alien card that goes into the cargo stack at one point, and when that comes out, it starts moving toward Earth, and when the aliens get to Earth, then the game is over. So, I mean, I kind of like it. You use the co-pilot cards can change one number on one of your cards to make getting that extra jump a little easier. However, if you don't use them, they're points at the end of the game. So it's just a cute little card game. It takes up a lot of real estate on the table, unfortunately. It does spread out pretty well.
Yeah.
But I still like it. I mean, it's nothing to look at, that's for sure. But,
no, it's from what year?
Oh my gosh, well by now I've already flashed it on the
like
screen.
2008 or something like that. I don't recall. 2012.
2012, yeah. Okay. So,
It's now 13 years old.
yeah. So, like I said, cute little game. We are going to hold on to this one. It does sit in the travel collection at this point, and it will stay there.
Yeah.
I think it's.
It doesn't. It did not come off our shelf all that often because it used to be in our collection. But
this was early in our collection
Yes.
too, very early. But I still like it. It's
Yeah.
still a cute little card game.
yeah, and
It's
like
not,
I said, the box doesn't scream here. Take me off and play me.
no. But if
But
you're a
it
Mayfair
is.
fan, or
Yeah, but once you get it out and actually play it, you see how strategic it can be trying to
yeah.
make those combinations to get as many points as you can each
Yeah.
time you deliver something. So,
yeah, it's nice. Okay.
so
Anyway.
it is. Would you consider it a pickup and delivery? I would.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're picking up the on one
cargo
planet
on
and
one
taking it to
planet.
another one.
Yeah. You just don't have to get to that planet for pickup. You just start there. It's not like you have to move the rocket ship there first. You gotta, yeah, never mind. Rocket Jockey. It's going to stick around. All right. Next.
So next we have Roll Domo Roll. I believe this is an IP.
Yeah, I think we found it was an IP in Japan.
This is from 2008.
Yeah. Apparently a very popular IP in Japan too.
This is who made this? Pressman Games?
Yeah.
Pressman.
So, all right. So how this one plays. Here is your central board. If I can get it open. There's your central board. You have a cup with a whole bunch of dice in it. And then you have all of your scoring chips.
The
All
old poker chips.
Yeah, old poker chips, exactly. All right, so how this plays. On your turn, you are rolling all the dice. Before you take your turn, though, you're going to ask everybody, all the other players, if they have any side bets. So somebody can bet on whether or not you're going to screw up. Simple as that.
If you're going to roll the apple.
Yeah. Well, I
'Cause
haven't
if
gotten
you
to
roll
the apple yet.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so you
Spoilers.
roll. Spoilers, right? There is one dice in here that has a couple of different things on it, and then it has a couple of apples. If you roll the apple, your turn is immediately over, and everybody else who bet on you wins their bet.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you can keep rolling. So when you're rolling, you're looking at all your dice, and you're trying to make sets that are advantageous to you for scoring. There is the Domo roll. Every Domo you roll and set aside gets 1 point when you decide your turn is over. Every Mr. Usagi, well, every pair of Mr. Usagis, I'm probably mispronouncing that, gets 2 points. So I can set aside either 1 or 2 Mr. Usagis out of my roll. Or every triple set of Tishana, we're going to go with that. That gets 3 points if I have 3 of them. I can put 3 of those over there. If this were my roll and I had not rolled the apple, heck yes, I would be stopping now because that's 6 points. I would collect my chips and I'd pass the dice. However, if I'd only rolled 2 Tishanas and I had rolled 3 Mr. Usagis, well, then I would only get 3 points because I would not get anything for this spare one and I didn't make my 3 here. So you can keep rolling throughout your turn. You set aside the dice you want until you roll the apple, or you can stop at any time. So if I had stopped well, that would do me no good to stop. Obviously, I'm going to keep rolling because right now I've got no points. So I would roll again. So, at this point, I would definitely stop because I have 4 here. Granted, one of them's not going to score. I have 2 here. That's 5 points.
But you only rolled the TV.
But on this die, so you've got your 2 apples that are bad. But the other 4 symbols, there's 2 televisions, which correspond with the Domo. There's one cell phone that corresponds over here with Tishana, and there is 1 teacup that corresponds with Mr. Usagi. Which, wherever this dice ends up on my very last roll, when I decide my turn is over, that section doubles. Mm-hmm. So if I ended up with a roll of the teacup, then I would get 4 points from Mr. Usagi, 1 from Domo, and 3 from here. However, my last roll was actually this, so I would not get any extra points from Domo from the television because I don't have anything there. But I would still get my 5 points from the other 2 areas. And then I would pass the dice and my turn is over. That's essentially the whole game. I mean, I get it's a kid's game.
Mm-hmm.
It is a kid's game.
It's for
I get that.
12 and up, though.
That makes no sense to me.
No. This a 4-year-old.
This is a 4-year-old game. We're going to let this one go.
But we don't know the IP, so
Right.
who knows? Maybe the IP is a little...
Maybe the IP is meant for older kids. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Let us know in the comments.
yeah, if you happen to know anything about this IP, please do. We're going to let this one go just because, one, the IP is not known here in the States, to my knowledge, anyway. But two, it's a little too simplistic for what I want, for what we are looking for that collection. So we're going to let Domo roll go, and yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it was cute, but not cute enough.
No.
All right.
Next we have the Rocketeer Fate of the Future. This is based on the movie The Rocketeer.
Dust in that box. Oh my gosh. Okay, and we just played this the other day. Apparently, I did not wipe it off after playing it.
It sat on the shelf for a while. This is only the second time we've ever played it.
Yes. All right, so here is your board. This is a 2-player game. So it's a head-to-head. If I can figure out how to open the board, we'd be in great shape. There we go. All right, so here is your board. Your board depicts...
The good guys or the bad guys?
Well, the board is separated by the good guys and the bad guys. It is also
Other way
depicts...
around,
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But it also depicts 6 of the locations from the movie. At the start of your turn, each player is set up in specific locations. And each player is using these, actually, I mean, they're not gorgeous minis, but they're cute. They work. So each player has 3 minis on their side of the board, and then you have the airship that moves around on the board.
That's your timer.
This is, oh, you're right. This is the timer. There's a second board in here.
There's a second board in here for the...
I forgot. Yes, this is your timer. You're trying to get to LA. So each player also has 3 character cards. The bad guys have these 3, and then the good guys have the Rocketeer and his, since they're on your side.
So she's giving me the villain for some reason.
Because they're on your side.
So
and
Sinclair's on the bad guy's your main guy, and then you have Lothar and Eddie Valentine.
And then on the good side, you have Cliff, the Rocketeer. You have Jenny Blake and PV Peabody. Now, what I find interesting on this one, you have all these little miniatures that are all the same color. Nothing, I mean, yes, you can tell who they are, but at the same time, I like the base symbols. The base symbols correspond with their card. So you can tell immediately. And there's another token that goes on here that shows that you've already used them for this round. Because you can only use each character once per round. So at the start of the game, everybody ends up in one place. On your turn, you are playing cards. The good guys have a set of plans. The bad guys are trying to get them. There are two dummy plans. And
2 decoys.
Yes, there we go. 2 decoy plans and the real plans. And at the start of your turn, or at the start of the game, you're putting your plans down here somewhere. And then the bad guys have to figure out who has them and then knock that person out and take the plans. Meanwhile, the good guys are trying to keep them safe. That's the whole game, is trying to get the plans. Whoever gets the plans basically wins the point.
Yeah, whoever has the plans when you get
to
when
Los
the blip
Angeles,
gets to Los Angeles wins the game.
So you've got a lot of tokens that you are getting and spending. Everybody has tokens that allow you to do extra fight symbols. You're basically starting, where is it? Oh, I'm missing the cards. These are point cards.
Yeah,
Now
you're
I
missing
remember.
the action cards.
I'm missing the action
The event
cards.
cards that go off every turn.
Like,
It tells
whoa,
you
what's happening.
what building is going to do something,
Yep.
how far the blimp is moving. Yeah, it's going to tell you what's going to happen during the day. Like this one, Sinclair charms Hollywood's hopeful. Place Jenny Sinclair on the South Seas Club. If they are knocked out, stand them up. So Jenny would have to go to the South Seas, which is up here.
Yep.
And then it says there's a star that goes on it. The star would go here, and then up at the top says Luxembourg Goodwill Tour. It shows the blimp once. I believe that is how far it moves.
I think they all show the blimp though, so I don't know if
No,
there's a 2. You're
some
right.
show 2, some show just 1. So like on this one, the blimp would move from Lakehurst to DC.
Yeah.
So you're basically just trying to keep a hold of the plans till the blimp gets to Los Angeles.
Each player has a set of cards. There's the hero cards and the villain cards. And on your turn, you're going to have so many different cards in your hand, and you can do stuff based on what's in your hand. Each of the cards have symbols up here in the corner, and that tells you which character can use it, which is good. So, for instance, this one here that says Millie's cooking, any of my players can use it. The main ability on the card says that each hero who is not knocked out gains a grit. Each hero who is knocked out stands up.
And grit,
That's nice.
To have grit is good.
Having grit gives you the ability to fight better.
Yes, because it adds to your fighting ability.
However, to play this, I have to have two, what is that symbol called?
You have to pay two.
You have to pay two of whatever that symbol's called. I can't remember. Oh, it's probably on here. It's clout.
Clout.
Two clout. So and you get clout throughout the game. It's this little token here. But I have to pay 2 clout to use the main piece of the card. Otherwise, I can use the card for this on these symbols here on the side. These symbols here on the side, like this one, allows me to move whichever character I'm using to activate the card. I can move that character 1 space between buildings and gain 1 clout. So you gain clout off of the cards. You spend clout by using the main action on the card. Or there is the fight symbol. I can use this as an extra fight symbol if I want to. There's also shield symbols in here, which I do not have in my hand, that you can use to shield yourself from other people's attacks. It's actually a pretty interesting game.
Yeah,
I like the card play in it.
Yeah, because once you play all your cards, then you score each section.
Yes.
And there's powers in between whoever has the control, meaning whoever has the most people in there.
Yeah.
And if you're knocked out, you're not part of the controlling.
Yeah.
But they have little powers to take over, and then wherever the star is, which is the finale star, whoever has control of that gets a finale card, and it's in-game scoring.
Right. And there's also, as you move to different locations, you're getting special.
Yes.
You're getting tokens, essentially.
Yeah, because whatever's in the little is what you're
getting as you're moving there. Yeah.
So yeah.
I like the game. I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed it until we played it this last time. That being said, I've won it both times we played it, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, and we've swapped.
We have. I've played each side
both sides
times,
now. Yeah. I think she was a better villain though than she was.
You think?
A hero. Now, how much this actually holds true to the movie? I mean, I can see the theme because you're going to the different places. We've seen the movie once.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of it.
No, so I can't really go by. Did it follow along with it? I don't remember.
I don't know, but I enjoy the game. It's an interesting premise. I like the fact it's just the 2-player. I like the card play. It's a small board, so it's not like you're trying to run halfway across the city. Halfway across the board's 3 spaces, so it's not too bad. But yeah, that is the Rocketeer, Fate of the Future. I saw you look.
What?
It's going to stick around. All right, next.
Next, we have Robot Face Race, the frantically fun feature-finding game.
I'm horrible at these kind of games.
And I seem to be better at them.
You are very good at these kind of games. All right, so here it, and we've got a couple similar to this.
Yeah, we have a fish one or an alien one.
We have another robot one, or an alien one.
Maybe
Maybe it's an alien one. That I think we've already played. I don't remember if we kept it or not, though. I'll have to look, because whether we keep this one will depend on whether we have the other one.
You just pulled it out and laid it down.
I did.
This is the board. Looks fun, doesn't it?
Yep. Okay, so this one, here's how you play. Every player has their set of robot heads. You gain a robot head every time you make a correct match. First player to get all of their robot heads wins the game. Simple as that. How you make the matches, though. Or no, actually, it's this. Yeah, you use your robot heads to throw out there, and then if you're correct,
and we didn't do that. We just pointed at it.
Oh, so, how you decide what you're making a match for.
So this is a little.
This is going to be bad.
Dial. It's got 5 little balls, and yeah, there's 5.
5.
And it's going to show you what
One
you
of
want.
them
So
disappears.
you get them where they all fall into at least a hole, and then this is what you're looking for. You're looking with an alien or a robot with the red eyes
A blue nose.
blue nose, purple head, and a yellow mouth. So you're looking on the board for that thing.
What's his head color? He's purple?
He's a purple one with
Purple
blue
with a
nose.
blue nose. Nope, that's not it.
And a yellow mouth.
Purple.
And red eyes.
No, wrong color nose.
Nope. Yep. So they should
I got
it
it
right there in the corner.
Way over here in the corner. So here we go. There is the alien head that matches. I had a little bit of a head start there because I was looking while you were talking about the ball. Anyway.
It's the only way she wins.
It is, really. I need like a 10-second head start. So anyway, so you would point to the alien, take one chip, first player to make so many matches wins the game.
I think what's crazy about this game is that it's so random.
Yeah.
To figure it out, but that alien is actually on the board.
Everyone is
so blue eyes, purple nose, green head, and a yellow mouth.
Green head, blue eyes. Nope, wrong color nose. Nope.
I'm like really slow today.
Is that it?
No, it's a green head.
Oh, green head. I was looking for the wrong color head. That doesn't help. I was looking at the wrong one. With green head, yellow smile. Purple nose, wrong color eyes.
Wrong color eyes, yes. It has blue eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Nope, that's a green, purple.
Nope.
No, the mouth is wrong.
It's on here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, jeez.
But
how long ago did you see that? You were just waiting for me to find it, weren't you?
I was giving you your head start.
Anyway, all right, so like I said, we do have a couple games that have this exact same premise. I do not remember if we kept the other one. The box is 3 times the size of this one.
She doesn't like the game. I like the game.
I like the game. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
do. I think it's fun. We've every time we've played one of this style games,
We've always had a lot of fun.
I get it's a kid's game, but we have laughed so hard. So I think it's fun.
Yeah, ages 4 and up.
I think it's a great.
That might be hard for a 4-year-old. I
It
don't know.
probably would be.
4-year-olds now are not as are smarter than 4-year-olds when we were young.
This is true.
A whole lot smarter. Well, they have better resources
Yes,
to learn
they do.
things.
They do. But I think it's a good attention to detail. It's a good matching game. Period. So we're gonna, if we've already got the other one, we're probably gonna get rid of it and keep this one just because the box is so much smaller. But one of the two will stay. I just have to figure out if we've still kept the other one. So, but anyway, Robot Face Race, the frantically fun feature finding game. Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, we're gonna keep it.
Okay, now we're
Okay.
getting bigger.
Yep.
Now we have Roll for Adventure. We just played this last Sunday.
Yes. Yes, we did.
As a 4-player game with our friends Doug and Sarah.
Okay, so this one is set up, it's a modular board. There are 4 locations that make up the board. Each one is double-sided, so you can choose your complexity. They recommend side A for your first game, so that is what we played since it was Doug and Sarah's first time playing. But you can mix it up and do all of side B or some A, some B, however you want to do it. So you put all the sides out. I'm probably not going to have these in the right order, but that's okay because
those
there are little clips that hold
go
them together. Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Okay.
It looks like I've got it together the right way. No, this one goes over here.
Oh, you're looking at the vortex?
Yes, I'm looking at
Okay.
the vortex.
So once you've got it together, there are little clips, and there's a whole series of them
There we
depending
go.
on the side of the board
That's
you're
the way
on.
it goes together.
There are clips that you put in there to kind of hold the board together, which
Yep.
is nice. So you choose your complexity, 1 by that, but 2 by which board you're going to use. Do you want to only have to collect 5 gems, 6, 7, or all 8? You choose which one you're going to do. I think we did the 6. You put that on one side.
No, we had the sword.
Did we have the sword? I
Yeah,
didn't think
we
we
had this
started.
one.
We can do
No?
that. Is the 6. Oh, I gave you
Yeah.
the 5. We did the 6. Everybody chooses a character. There are 10 different characters. Each one has its own special ability. Like the Avenger here, once per turn, if you defeat an enemy, you can move all of the dice used to defeat that into one or more territories.
That's the one I had.
Is it? Okay. But there's the Avenger, there's the Adventurer, the Fighter, the Thief, the Frost Runner. Once per turn, you may move any one die from the ice cave to the territory where you are placing one or more of your own dice. So you can move it from ice
here.
cave is here, from here to someplace else. But then there's a healer, warrior, sorcerer, summoner, and a protector. So, and each one does something different that allows you to manipulate the dice that you are rolling. You have your little tokens out, or your little gems, I should say. There's a pile of gems sitting over on one of these. It's not this one, on here, I believe, and you got to get them over to there.
Yep.
That's the key. And then everybody has a set of dice. Everybody starts the game with 5 dice. There are specialty monsters. We did play with the dragon, but you can leave these out if, again, these make it a little bit of a tougher game. Because like with the dragon, he removes whenever he comes up, he removes all of one color dice, or one number dice from the board.
And it says on the card
So
which
in this
one.
case, this one will remove all 6s from the board. So if you're building and trying really hard to get this guy done with all your 5s and 6s, he just took away a lot of your progress.
Yep.
But that's those. But otherwise, there is another series of there's a stack of monsters out. The Master of Shadows is in the stack somewhere, about somewhere in the middle section of the deck. When he comes out, at that point, he comes out constantly because you shuffle him back into whatever's left. He makes every monster who's still on the board that hasn't been defeated attack, and then he gets shuffled back in to what's left of the deck. So he just keeps coming back. So you want to keep the monsters at bay. How you do that? So on your turn, you are rolling all of your dice, and the goal again is to get those gems from here to here. You're rolling your dice and placing them somewhere on your board. You have to place all of your dice.
Yeah, now you can roll them
You
three
can roll
times.
them up to 3 times, but you have to place them. So for instance, and you can only place one number.
Yes.
So for instance, or no, you continue rolling until you've placed all your dice. It's not just a 3-roll limit. You roll until you've placed all your dice.
But you got to place a dice every time you roll.
But you have to place a die every time you roll, and you can only place one number at a time. So this round, say I could place just this 6 here and re-roll. Or I could place these 2 5s. This whole section wants 5s and 6s. I can place those 2 there, and then I have to re-roll everything. Well, I've got 2 1s. Well, I can place those 2 1s right there. And then I get another 1. Well, heck, I'm going to place that there.
Yep.
Each territory has their own rules. This one wants all 5s and 6s, and when you get to this first barrier, you get a gem, and you move a gem over. And then all the dice come off the board, everybody gets them back.
And the barrier moves over.
The barrier moves over 1. Now you need 1 additional 5 or 6. Over here, well, let me come back to that one. Over here you have sets of 2, 3, and 4. When you've filled up all the 2s, you break this little seal that's here. It's just another tile that's sitting here. And then everybody gets their dice back. And then you fill up the 3s and you break this seal and everybody gets their dice back. And then you do the 4s and you break this seal. Everybody gets their dice back and you get a gem. And then all the seals reset and you can do it again.
Yep.
This is how we got most of our gems.
Yeah, and you don't have to first place all the 2s. and
No,
then place
you can
all
have a
3s.
2 and a
You can-
3 and a 4.
Yeah, and you can place
and
wherever
whatever,
you want, but you don't get the dice back until that whole thing
until the
breaks.
whole thing is set. Yep. Well, until each set breaks.
Right.
When the
Oh, that's
seal
right.
breaks,
I
then
said
you
the whole
get your
thing
dice
then.
back. So that's that one. Just to show you a close-up of this one, it's all the 5s and 6s and the barriers just keeps moving and at each one of the barrier breaks, you get a gem. This guy here only takes 1s, and then when you fill it up the first time, you move 1 of those over to here. And it's kind of lost. Not
Yep.
really, but it could be lost.
'Cause
And
then
then
you
you
have
have
to
to
fill
fill
that back
this
up
side
again.
up again, and then one of them moves over. And then you have to fill it up a 3rd time, and then one of them moves over. And then once this is full, one of those permanently goes here, is lost to oblivion, so somebody's losing a die, but you get a gem. This is a hard one. We never got any gems off this one because the monsters kept taking away the dice. After you've taken your turn, you've rolled all your dice, you've gotten rid of everything, then the monsters come out. And each area does something
No, you didn't
different.
explain that one.
Oh, I did not. I'm sorry. And then there's this one. You actually can gain bonus dice from it. There's actually a couple things you can do. You can gain bonus dice if you have 4 or more dice here. If anybody has 4 or more dice here. Not one person has to do all of it. Once you hit 4, you can choose to take your bonus dice and everybody gets their dice back. Or you can wait and do 5. And then not only do you take your bonus dice, everybody gets their dice back, but you also get to free kill a monster. You can take any monster off the board. Or you can wait and try and get that 6th number up here. And then you get all of the stuff you've already done, plus you get to reset one of these death counters back to 0. All the tracks have these death counters that the monsters cause to start, the monsters make raise.
Yeah, because if one of them gets to the skull,
the game's
lose
over.
the game.
Yep. So each monster does something slightly different. So over here in the desert, the monster will either take, if you're playing side A, he takes 1 dice off the board. If you're playing side B, he takes 2 dice off the board. However, if there's no dice there for him to take, the skull creeps up. Any dice that are taken off the board by a creature go in here to the center, to the vortex. You can't get these back until somebody activates this vortex by placing 10 or more pips of dice there. So that's this one. That's the desert. The ice cave, he just takes the highest number. So if you have a 6, he takes your 6. If the highest number is a 3, he takes your 3. He takes a dice, highest of whatever's there. Again, if there's no dice there, the skull marker pips up or moves up. What is this place?
This is
the crypt, the Shadowland, the crypt spirit is what they call it.
Okay.
He takes a 2, 3, and a 4. He takes 1 from every section. And if he can't take at least 1 die,
he's going to move up.
The thing moves up. And then that is the vampire bots. He goes to the gray. He goes to the gray. That's another sand. The Minotaur, like over here in the green, in the forest area, he takes a 5 and a 6. So he takes 1 of each. If he can't take at least 1, the skull moves up. Again, when the skull, and there's these little bitty skull markers. Where are they? Yeah, these little bitty 3D skull markers.
They kind of remind you of the skulls from the Dark Tower.
Yes.
But they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah, these just start moving up. And when one of them gets to the final area, game's over. I really like this one. It is a neat dice chucking game.
Well, what you didn't show, though, is that...
What I didn't show.
When a monster comes out, if there's any monsters that number is lower than that, those monsters also activate.
Yes. So it gets exponentially harder if you don't take them out. So like this one's a 3. If this guy came out and this guy was already out, both of them would activate.
And it doesn't have to be in just their area. It's all over the board.
If these two were both out at the same time, if this guy was already out and he came out, they'd both activate on each of their separate sections. So if you don't keep the monsters in check,
they're just going to tear you apart.
They're going to go away. And these, you can take out a monster with a 6. Doesn't have to be a 6. It can be any combination of 6.
And there is one character that has it. You only need a 4.
I only needed a 4 to do it. I really like this one. I always have. So it's a nice, fun dice chucking game.
Yeah, and I can see possible expansions for it because they could bring out more.
This game's old enough.
I
know.
I
they
don't
bring
think
expansions out.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a big hit when it first came out.
No, unfortunately not.
But I seen room for expansions. Yes. But it'll probably never happen.
No, most likely not. But I do like it. We've never played with any of the side Bs, so I definitely want to try the side Bs and maybe. And again, you've got a lot of variability. You use a couple side As, a couple side Bs. You know, I think it's interesting.
Yep.
Make sure I didn't leave anything behind. That is Roll for Adventure. I felt myself turn that bottom. I knew that was going to happen. Anyway, that is Roll for Adventure. A very fun dice checking game, cooperative, which makes it a lot of fun. But yeah, we're going to hold on to that.
Okay, next we have, this is heavier than I thought it was. Roll for the Galaxy. This is the dice rolling version of Race for the Galaxy.
Yes. We have one expansion in here. Oh my gosh, how do you explain this guy?
If you've ever played Race for the Galaxy, just picture rolling dice for it.
Right. Yeah, basically. So everybody has this is your card. You have your citizenry, and this is how you're tracking your money. Money is how you buy back your dice, essentially. You have 2 building piles. So when you, instead of having a handful of cards, you
have
would
them stacked
instead
up.
have a stack. I don't want to completely unroll this. You would have just a stack of tiles here, and you can either have developments.
Well, you start
or
off with one of
planets.
each.
Right, you start with one of each, but as you
And then
are...
when you do the explore action, you can get more.
Right, as you're doing the explore action and you're gaining more, you're choosing whether you want to lay them down on the planet side or on the development side. And once you've laid them down somewhere, you can't flip them over. You have to stick with what you chose. You can discard them later. That gives you a better, so maybe I decide I'm never going to get this guy built. I can discard him and it gives me an extra tile I can look at come time to explore.
Yeah.
So everybody starts with one set that gives you some powers here and one home planet. So you start with 3 out already. The goal is getting 12. So you only have to build 9 things. On your turn, though, you're going to start, everybody starts with a certain number of just straight up white dice. And of course, I would not pull up the white dice. There's lots of dice in here. So you've got your red and brown. There's the green and blue there. There's white and yellow. And then the expansion brought in, the first expansion, brought in the black, orange, and the purple. You're starting out with so many dice. Behind your shield, you are rolling your dice and you are choosing where they're going to go. Everybody has this little card.
It's right here.
Oh, there it is. Everybody has this little card that kind of depicts what the okay, yeah, it's right side up. This side's upside down. That's
Yes, I
what was
know.
throwing me
Because
off.
you can turn it over like this. Because
Yeah.
it's two-sided,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. For
Is it 2 different languages or?
I don't know why it's two-sided. Because it's the exact same thing on both sides. You would think they're trying
yeah.
to
I don't know.
give you a change-up.
Anyway, all right, so you roll your dice, and behind your screen, you're deciding what to do with those dice. I would line my dice up exactly how I rolled them. And then I have some options. I can choose, and let's make it interesting. Maybe I had a couple yellow dice in there already. So I've got this and this. This is my roll. Here, let's pull that back, because I don't even know if that's on camera. So say this is my first roll. I have some options at this point. I have to choose one of these to declare, I'm going to go ahead and leave it up there, to declare what action I'm going to choose. There's a series of tiles out in the middle of the table that show all of the actions, kind of like Terraforming Mars did, or Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition did. So these are out in the middle of the table.
There.
They're all turned over to the X side. And then as people declare that's what their action is for this round, they flip over and that's the action everybody gets to take. Exactly like Race for the Galaxy.
Yep.
I have to declare one. So maybe I need to explore. So, and I know I don't have anything I want to develop this turn, so I can take this develop dice, place it up here. It becomes a third explore. And by placing it here, I'm declaring that I'm exploring. That's what I want to do. I could maybe do this instead, because who knows, maybe I'll find some developments I want to develop when I explore. But I also want to potentially settle too. So I'll use one of my settles to declare that I'm going to explore. Once everybody's decided what they're doing, there is a way you can throw away a dice to move one to something else.
Yeah.
So maybe I have some goods out I really want to deliver. I can throw away this develop and move this guy over to here and declare that I'm delivering instead. There is that option too. So once everybody's declared what they're doing, everybody raises their screen. You flip these over to determine, so, okay, great. I was going to explore, and maybe Greg decided he was going to develop, and the rest of these all stayed down. Okay. We do the explore. Whoever chose explore does it. Well, everybody gets to do it.
Yeah, everybody gets to do it.
So I declared 3 of them, so I would pull 3 tiles out. Maybe I decided I did want to get rid of this. I can throw it aside, pull a 4th tile. Oh, I already have 4 tiles. I actually have 5 tiles. Pull a 4th tile out.
That's how you're cheating.
I did not win this game. But, and then after I'm done, this would go back in the bag. But from these tiles, I can keep 1. That's it. So I keep 1, put it however I want to keep it. I put it onto my board, whether it be planet side or development side, and then that's it for the action. Everybody else who had anything, whether they declared it or not, if they had even one eyeball here under the explore action, they can do the same thing. They may only get to pull one and keep one, but they get to do the action.
Yes.
And then we move on to develop. And anybody who had a develop die here can develop. To develop, you're choosing one of your tiles, you're placing it onto, or no, you're looking at the top tile on your board. Here we go. And you're placing any develop dice you had onto this thing. Now, in this case, I would finish it. Great. So I would just be able to build this, and it goes into my tableau, and I'm done. This die goes back into my citizenry, as do all of these explorers. They go back in here to my citizenry. At the end of the game, at the end of the round, wherever my money's at tells me how many of these dice I can take back and throw into my cup for next round. So your dice, you may end up with 10 dice here.
Yeah.
And only 3 in your cup if you don't get money. Now, when you're exploring, you can give up one of them. Each die can become 2 coins, which is huge. So that is definitely a reason, even if you don't want to explore, you might keep a die there in case somebody else does. Then you can at least get some money. Same with the develop or the settle with planets. In this case, I would just put this here and it would stay there until I got 4 more. And then I could settle that planet. So it's not something that, like with Race for the Galaxy, you have to be able to do everything right and then.
Yeah.
This, you can just let it sit there and build until you have enough. It's an interesting game. I have to admit, I enjoyed it more this time than I have in the past.
Yeah.
And maybe we're just finally starting to see some of the finesse of it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people like this.
A lot of people do.
They like this more than Race.
Than Race, yeah. Which we've always been partial to Race.
Well, Race was the first one we got.
It was. And I've always enjoyed the third one.
Which you can never
and I
remember
can never
the name
remember
of it.
the name. I can picture it. I cannot remember the name of it. But I've always enjoyed that one personally.
Yeah.
So, but we are going to hold on to this one. We did move it over to the travel collection quite some time ago. But we're going to go ahead and keep it there. We know where it is if we want to play it. I do think it is a good game.
Yeah.
For sure. And like I said, this last time I very much enjoyed it. Anyway, that is Roll for the Galaxy. It is going to stick around. Yeah, that's it. All right.
Next we have Rock and Roll Trivia. Rock and Roll Trivia from the Beatles to Bowie.
Wow. This was...
So if you're not an early Gen Xer or a boomer, this game's not for you. Unless you're really into rock history.
Yeah, this is a lot of rock history. It's exactly what it is. I was impressed. I got as many right as I did. I could not believe how many I got right. It was hysterical. So, okay. We played teams. It was Greg and I against Doug and Sarah, and we did win. Here is your board. So it was close. We got into here, and they were like right here. They were very close.
Yeah.
So the way this one runs, there is a die. You're rolling the die. We decided one of the variants is you can
double your roll.
Speed the game up by doubling your roll. One thing I liked about this is that even if you didn't answer correctly, next turn you still move. You are continuing to progress toward the center, even if you don't answer anything correctly till you get to the center. You could still win. If you answered correctly, you get to go again, so you're moving a little faster. But I like the fact that you didn't have to answer correctly to move. That was not, the game was not dependent on that.
No.
All right, so.
It wasn't like Trivial Pursuit where, okay, I have a blue color now I don't need that. And you had to have one of each color. No. It's
all
just
right, so
get to the center and answer the last
here
question.
is the board. I hate this box because it doesn't have the tall sides. However, I see the reason for it.
Yes.
This tray is fantastic because you could just pull the cards off. It keeps everything nice and neat. There's no big mess on the table. It's great. So there are 8 categories here. There is heavy metal. There is rock general 1. There is album titles artist, roots of rock, art rock, song titles artist, the Beatles, and rock general 2. So really, I guess there's 7 because you got 1 and 2. Which I feel like these two should be next to each other because, I don't know why I didn't do that the other day. But anyway, so how this plays. On your turn, the other team or another player pulls the card, depending on...
You're gonna do this too then. Album titles, Some
Okay,
titles.
there you go. That makes sense. You pull, based on the color you land on, you pull that card. If you land on a white, it's wild. You get to choose which one you're taking. Then we were just rolling a dice to see the number.
Doug and Sarah first started just saying
picking.
the number. I was just randomly rolling the numbers there. Let's see what we get.
There's 5 questions on here. You choose which one you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. There is no rhyme
harder
or reason as to which is
one
harder,
is
which
easier,
is
5's harder. There's none of that.
So like this one here, this is again heavy metal. Who influenced Frank Marino's style of guitar playing?
And that's in heavy metal.
That's in heavy metal.
Jimi Hendrix.
You're right.
Hey, look at that. See? That's heavy metal.
Which member of Cheap Trick resembles Satch of the Bowery Boys?
It's probably the lead guitarist, but I don't know his name.
Rick Nielsen? Maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that's the lead singer, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. But anyway, that's the type of questions you're going to see.
I don't know a lot about Cheap. I've seen Cheap Trick in concert, but I don't know their names that well.
There were a lot of them that we were, oh my gosh, we were just laughing. And there was even one, I said the answer, and you're like, no, you're wrong. And then it was right.
She was right.
It was hysterical.
Okay, let me explain. She is not a rock and roll person. She grew up as a country girl, so.
What was that one, too?
I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was, but it seemed so obvious to me at the time. And I was just, I
it was their debut album. What was the name of it? It was what was Aerosmith's debut album? You said Aerosmith, and I was like, no, I don't believe they had an album called that. And I said Toys in the Attic, and it was Aerosmith.
But there was another one.
It was
too.
before my time. Before I started listening to that type of music. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was another question too that I just threw an answer out because that had been the answer to the previous question, and it was right again. It was so funny. Oh, here you go. This is under album titles artist, Dark Side of the Moon.
That's Pink Floyd.
I even know that.
Yeah, because that was one of the answers I gave to something else.
Yeah.
And it was wrong. It was not the name of the. It was what was Pink Floyd's first debut album called?
Come Taste the Band, 1975.
Come Taste the Band?
I've never heard of this group. Okay, now see.
Who was it?
Deep Purple.
Oh, I know who Deep Purple is.
Okay, here's a good one. Foreigner, 1977.
Foreigner. I had that album.
It's like some of the questions are just silly, but others they're hard. Some of them are really hard. Okay, I have to admit we enjoyed the game. However, I think it was because of
we didn't answer a lot of the questions though.
We did not. I think with the right.
Because the copyright on this is 1984. So that's why I said if you're an early Gen Xer or a boomer, you could probably play the game pretty good.
Yeah. We are.
Or you're really good on rock history.
Rock history. We are going to let this one go, mostly because it's very.
It is very dated.
It's dated. Yes, it is.
But
dated.
at least it says from the Beatles to Bowie. And actually, there were some questions in there that was before the Beatles.
There were.
Especially on the history of rock.
Yes.
Roots of rock.
And I did like that on one question we pulled it up. It even said, as of 1984, what was this? Mm-hmm. So it recognized the fact that it's going to become outdated.
Yeah.
And I did like that. But at the same time, for the collection we're trying to build for that room, I just don't see this fitting in. One, it's trivia, but two, it's trivia geared toward an older generation. So yeah, we're going to let this one go. I'm hoping it can find a good home because I think it is a well done game. And I do like what it does. I just don't think it's for us. So, but anyway, that is rock trivia. The rock and roll from the Beatles to Bowie. From the Beatles to the Bowie. From Beatles to the Bowie.
Beatles to the Bowie. There we go.
Anyway, it's going to leave the collection.
Would have been easier to go from Bowie to Beatles.
Maybe, yes. Oh my goodness. Okay,
next after Beatles to the Bowie, we have Rogue Agent.
Rogue Agent.
Or Agent Rogue, or Agent to the Rogue.
Agent to the Rogue.
Or Rogue to the Agent.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so this is one, I have to admit, we played this once a while back. We got this at the Dice Tower Retreat. It was one of the freebies I picked up on a second round. I was really intrigued with it, and part of me still is. I can see what it's trying to do, and I like what it's trying to do. just don't know if I want to pursue it further, if that makes sense. So anyway, rogue agent here. Put that over there so they can see the cover. How this one is played, you have your 6-second bomb timer. Each player has a player board with that they keep track of their resources on it. And that is the round counter and the victory point counter. And then you have your city. The city is laid out in
precincts.
Yeah, it's the precincts are set up in a very specific way, and then everything else kind of fills in around the precincts. So here's the way the board is set up. Headquarters in the middle, precincts on all 4 sides, and then stair-stepping down precincts here, and then the rest of the tiles fill in around it. On your turn, you get so many actions per turn. You get 2 actions, and then you can do some other stuff in between. So everybody starts in the headquarters. The game starts out with, if I can get this bag open, there we go, with a police officer on one of the precincts. He protects you when he's there. So on your turn, you get 2 actions. Before you take your actions, you are seeding the board, essentially. You draw 2 things out of this bag, and there's a number of different things in this bag. There are bombs. Bombs are not good, but okay. There are bombs. There are criminals, and then there are assassins. I think those are the only 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So depending on what you pull out, depends on what you do. Assassins, you just put them down. They move around and cause havoc later. Bombs, you take one of these extra dice, and you're determining where they're going because you're rolling a dice to see where they go. The bomb, you roll a die and you put that on top of it wherever it's going to be. And then the criminal, there's a matching set of these tokens that are out on the board, and you take the matching one. If I can find it, here it is. You draw a card off the top of the deck, and this becomes the criminal that nobody knows what he is that's attached to this piece. And you can't see what he is until somebody goes over there to check him out.
And only that person can know what it is.
And only that person. Well, it flips over and then everybody can see it.
Well, you can see what it is, decide if you want to do it.
Until you actually
and
get
then once
there.
you go there and say you're going to try and apprehend it, then you flip the card
flip it over and everybody sees who it is. But on your turn, you can do 2 actions. To move twice is an action. However, anytime you're going to move, you have to deal with any thugs that are on the tile. So, for example, this precinct has a thug there. So you're rolling dice to try to beat the thugs. You can move into other tiles that let you do other things. Like, for instance, this one here lets you roll 3 red dice and take the resources off of those dice. It also gives you health and shield back, or health back and then shield. You can also purchase, for 1 coin, you can purchase a health, in which case you can hopefully heal yourself a little bit here, which, as you would expect at the city hospital.
Yeah.
Down here at the garage, you can purchase car points. Again, as you would expect at the garage.
Car points will eventually allow you to go farther and
you can move
add
further.
a shield.
But you roll 2 green dice and 1 black dice, or you can do this down here, and that's considered an action. So each of the tiles do something different. The precincts, you're fighting thugs. A lot of the other areas are just gather resources or buy stuff, which again is gathering resources. After your turn is over, now other things happen. The thugs move. So even if you knew where he was and you were headed toward him, he moves. Everything moves in a circle till it hits this top tile and then it leaves the city. The assassins will move and attack anything in range and then move again and do the same thing. So they get to move twice. The bombs, if nobody has dealt with them, they tick down. And as soon as they have to tick down to a 0 and can't, they blow up. And anything that is close to them gets injured.
I know there's in a 3 to 4 or 5 or whatever, they have androids.
Yes.
That are trying to destroy
the city's areas.
The city areas. Yeah. And I think the bombs, when they blow up, they turn. You keep talking, I'll double check.
So, I mean, I like what it's doing. I thought it was intriguing. But I don't think it was intriguing enough to hold on to. I think we're going to let this one go altogether. It's been in our collection for a while because, again, I was intrigued by it. I wanted to play it again. And I can see why I was, but at the same time, I don't know that it's something we'll ever revisit again. So we're going to let this one go for sure. I think the flip over is when the androids destroy it.
Yeah.
But the bomb I don't think does. It just injures everything around it. One thing I didn't mention though, and this is arguably one of the most interesting areas of the game. We only did it once, and I failed.
Oh,
the bomb blew up.
Doing the bomb.
The bomb. So when you do the bomb, when you decide to move into the area to try to detonate the bomb. So if this is on a 4, or to prevent the bomb from detonating, if this is on a 4, then I have basically 4 chances to do this, or 4 rows to do this in. There are 6 rows depicting 6 seconds left on the bomb. So you don't use any of these dice, but you keep one out just to take down your totals. Yeah, it stays up here to show how long the bomb has before it blows up. So you roll all the dice. And you are looking, at this point in time, you are looking for explosions and X's, and that's it. You have to place all the explosions out. You can place them in any order you wish, so I could do this if I wanted to. And then the X, once you place an X at the bottom of a row, that row can no longer be added to with explosions, only X's. The goal is you have to have 3 X's in a row, horizontally or diagonally. You have to have 3 X's in a row to defuse the bomb. Well now, oh, I didn't even see him. I had an extra bomb, or an extra explosion. So now I have 4 dice left to roll 2 explosions and an X. 2 more X's. Well, there's my X. Okay, good. At this point, the first row is free. I've just ticked it down from a 4 to a 3 because I've filled up the second row.
Well, you put a dice in the second row. There's 2 more X's, and you
well,
have to
there's no
place
way
them
to do
too.
it. I would either have to place them here, in which case I'm not going to have another one there, or
you
I would
could
have
place
to
them
place
all there.
I could do this.
And hope to get another X.
I would have to have another X, and I have to have an X or a bomb. Okay, yay, I won it.
You did it that time.
I did it. So there we go. I have 3 X's in a row. I defused the bomb before it went off, because at this point it would be at a 2 because I have filled up 2 rows. This is interesting, but I don't think it's interesting enough to warrant keeping the game. So, but like I said, I'm intrigued by it. It is brutal. It is very punishing.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, we're gonna let it go. All right. Okay, that is Rogue Agent. And we are going to go ahead and let him go. All right.
And last but not least is...
Yeah, I figured you'd save this one for last.
Rock Hard. Well, it just happened to be on the bottom of the pile when I stuck it over there.
Okay. This one... Here, I'll let you...
Has the coolest freaking money in the game.
Oh, why is the board
in any
all the way
game.
on the bottom?
Because it looks so real, like American money.
It
has
does.
Ones,
It
fives,
looks like
and
the
tens.
old American money. It's
Yes,
not the
yeah,
newer
the
stuff.
older.
So I do like that attention to detail.
And it feels like, not quite the same amount, but it
No.
doesn't feel like regular paper money.
No.
It feels like it could be real.
Yeah.
It even has the little writing on it from people back when we used to write on our money.
This is, okay, that's 4 and 5 side. This is 2 and 3. So it's double-sided. So here is your board. I'm going to let him do most of the talking on this because this is one of his favorite games.
Okay.
So here is...
Will you start talking and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. How about that?
Lord. Okay. I've played this a couple times, and I will admit my first play was a little rough. I was tired. It was late.
Yes, it was.
We have played it. I have played it a second time. You've actually played it a few times now. And it was better. I still did not win, if I remember correctly, but it was better. The basis of the game is you are rock stars in the late 1970s, or aspiring
You're
rock
aspiring
stars.
rock star. You're trying to become a rock
Right,
star.
in the late 1970s. So each round is broken up into 3 phases. You've got your morning phase, your evening phase, or your day phase, your evening phase, and your overnight phase.
After hours.
After hours, whatever. Anyway, so, and then you have a set of stuff up here that you can do at any time. You're choosing one member of a band, and you're throwing this into your little amp, and this is your player board. Everybody gets a job that goes here. You, with one exception that I'm aware of, there might be more, but with one exception, if you don't go to work, you get
lose your
written
job.
up.
Yeah.
If you get written up 3 times, you lose your job. Going to work at the start of the game is one of the few ways to make money. So you have to go to work to make the money to buy your demo album and to do all the other things you need to do. Everybody also gets a manager, and the manager gives you a special ability of some sort. You can use them once per day. Everybody has their dials up here that keeps track of their chops, their reputation, and their songs. Once you get, you start making
Demo
money, you
tape
get
and a record
royalties.
deal.
Yep, you can keep track of your royalties, and then your cravings. And this guy had a craving of 4. Wow. Let's turn that back to a 0. Everything else is at 11. So on your turn, and I am just grabbing, I'm not even grabbing the right person. I'm sure I did not grab this guy, so it's
No,
whatever.
you did not.
It's fine. And each one of these even has their own special thing on here too. Like this guy here is the romantic, the bass player androgynous. When you hang out backstage or at Jack's, draw 2 cards and play 1. Discard the other face down on the bottom of the deck.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll come to that type of stuff. This ability does not apply when a card effect allows you to draw another card. In that case, you only draw 1 additional card. Okay, so on your turn, you are starting out by choosing something over here in the day phase. Depending on where your job says you have to work, because some jobs say you work during the day, some in the evening, and some at night. If you work during the day, you have a choice of going to work or doing something here. Down here, you can go interview at the radio station and gain a reputation. The turn order stuff is guitar picks, which is interesting. Okay, so you can go rehearse at the studios. It costs you money though, but you can work on your chops. You can go do an interview. It's free and you gain a reputation. You could potentially go and hire crew members to work in your band. Once you have recordings, which are done over here overnight,
once you get a demo
you can
tape.
get stuff. Once you get demo tapes, then you can start making record deals. So there's different things here you can do. If none of these appeal to you and you don't want to go to work, or maybe you have to work later, then you can go and you can just write songs at home, and you get some of your songs up. You can go donate blood. That's one way to get money. Or you can buy and sell candy. We'll come back to the candy. After everybody has done their day phase, you move on to the evening phase. And again, other things you can do. There's a random gig out here that changes every round. There are other gigs. These are mostly gigs and then one studio location. So you can go do something here. You can go try to play a gig and make a little bit of cash, maybe improve your reputation. And then in the third action, or if you, again, none of these work, you can still do all of this stuff up here. Then
You go to the
the after hours stuff. This is where turn order next round is determined.
Yep.
If you want to go first next round, you go to bed early. That's first next round, no matter what. You go to bed early. Or you can choose to go and buy or sell candy, donate blood, write a song, or go to work. Those are all a little bit earlier in next turn order.
Or you can go hang
Or
out.
you can go record your demo. That puts you in sixth running for first place, or for to go first next round. Or you can go hang out. And hanging out gets you one of these cards, and these cards do all sorts of different things. There's 5 different sets. One of them is wild. The other 4 become a set collection aspect. It gets you points when you collect a set of all 4 of them. So like Hoovers are the little champagne glasses or the wine glasses, and this one says that the bar is full of frat boys. A party with them, yes, you gain a candy. And if you are male, 1 reputation score. Okay. If you know, then you go to bed early and end your turn. So you have your options what you're going to do.
And that's basically a bar where you're going to. The
Yeah.
Hoovers is the name of a bar.
Okay. This one, you find yourself on your own in a bar full of happy people. You write a song about being lonely. It's a hit. Gain 1 song and 2 money. So that's Hoovers. Jack's
You go hang out with Jax. Because the whole story was written by Jackie Fox
yeah.
from the Runaways.
Yes.
And it's basically about her life when she joined the Runaways.
Yeah.
So
you go
what
to Jack's,
she went through.
and this ties into this guy's ability. So if you were playing this guy, then whenever you went to backstage,
Or at
when you
Jack's.
hang out backstage or at Jack's, and there's two different places, backstage and
Backstage,
Jack's, then you get to draw 2 cards and choose one. Well, this one says you get invited to the table of a nephew of the Shah of Iran. Do you sit down? Yes. You gain a star, which is a victory point, and 1 coin. If you say no, you gain a reputation. Interesting. Okay. So again, different choices. And then let's see, there's backstage. Backstage says you meet a fan who loves Bowie, but you'll have to do. You meet a fan who loves Bowie, but you'll have to do. If you are androgynous, gain 2 reputation, otherwise gain 1. Okay? So
And the whole time you're trying to get everything up.
yeah,
because
you're trying to get these
you
numbers
need
up.
these up to be able to play the bigger and more.
Yeah.
The one that gives you more money and gives you more points.
Hanging out means you're going to go in last in turn order, most likely.
Because you stayed up late.
Because you stayed out late. But you get good things off of it. There's also different goals that you're keeping in mind. There's some group goals up here. There's events that happen every round. You play 9 months. It starts in April, ends in December.
Yep.
Every 3 months, you've got to pay your manager. If you
And
can't
it
pay your
keeps getting
manager,
more and more expensive.
you don't get to use them next round. So lots of different things happening. It can be a long game.
Yeah.
Especially when you start getting 3 and 4 players into the game. It can be a long game.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it last time. And you guys played it on New Year's Eve, and it lasted quite long.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 hours almost.
Yeah. Something
But
like
a lot of people don't think it's thematic. I think it's really thematic because you're trying to become a rock star. And like I said, if you miss work 3 times, you're now a professional rock star, and you hope you're making enough money to continue on.
Yeah.
But just making those choices as where to go, when to get your demo cut, and when to go sign your album, because the more stuff you have, the more chops and all that you have, the better of the royalties you'll get for that signing and everything. And then plus the more of the stuff, the chops and reputation, the songs you have, the better arenas you can go play instead of these little bitty pubs and stuff. So I really liked it.
And one of the most thematic pieces of this game is the candy. Now I've replaced the candy that came in it. I actually don't even have any of the cardboard in here anymore. I bought these little pieces on Etsy for candy. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally missed that piece. If you decide to take candy, I'll leave that up to your imagination as to what that means. It was 1977 after all. But if you decide to take candy, then you can essentially take a second action. Now, there are a lot of specialty rules as to what you can do and can't do, and I'm not going to go into any of that. But you take the candy, you spend it, you knock your craving up 1, and then you roll the dice. If you roll below what your craving is, oh, I didn't see that you put that in there either. If you roll below your craving, which obviously on your first piece of candy you're not going to do, then you spend the next day phase in recovery. You don't do anything else during day phase. You spend your day in recovery.
And then you can pull,
and then you
drop
can
it
drop
by
your
1.
craving by 1. Candy is a viable strategy in the game because it gives you extra actions. However, it can be dangerous, as it was, to continue to pursue that. But yeah, I mean, it adds a definite flair to the game, that's for sure.
A 2-player game is okay. I would at least want 3 players in this, at least.
I agree. We've played it 2-player. We've played it 4-player. You've played it 3-player. I think at 3 and 4-player, it definitely can be long.
Yes, it can.
But I think it is still a good game.
But when you're playing it, it doesn't feel like it's lasted that long.
No, it does not.
Because it goes pretty quickly.
The time goes,
Yeah, it's like when we've just played how long?
The trickiest part of the game is getting everything back in the box.
into the box.
Okay, I'm still good there.
Because we took out the insert and made our own.
Well, there really wasn't much of an insert.
No.
But I put pieces in plastic, and it makes it just easier to set up. But anyway, that is Rock Hard 1977, otherwise known in our collection as Hard Rock 1977. But whatever. Yeah, good game. Even if I wanted to get rid of it, I couldn't. So, yeah, it will stick around for a while. That's it for this episode. We're done. We're almost done with the R's. We got 2 more episodes.
Two
of the
more
R's.
episodes.
All right, so
So until then, we'll see you at the next one.